Hello again, I am John Bob and welcome back to F1 Manager 23 Hardcore Series. Tonight it's round 3, we're heading to Albert Park in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. So we're up and running again, a little late going tonight because somehow, I really don't know how, I managed to uninstall the game. No more than an hour before I was supposed to start streaming, and when it got to like 5 to 8, and I started getting set up and prepped, and I went to look for my my launcher on my PlayStation 5. It wasn't there, and I'm like, where's that gone? And I went into my library, and then I realised it wasn't in my installed items, it was only in my collection, and I'm like, oh dear. Quickly went to download it. It says, okay, half an hour to go. Fantastic stuff. So we're reinstalled. Obviously it hasn't affected our save files because they are separate from the game data itself. But yeah, a little bit of a delay tonight. We're back up and where we should be, which is in the build-up to the Australian Grand Prix. We've got 11 days to go, and we're coming off the back of an unexpectedly difficult race in the desert in Jeddah. It wasn't our strongest outing, but then I knew we were going to struggle there, just because of the way that circuit flows and the lack of, well, everything really on the car. You know, speed, downforce, airflow management, etc. The only thing that we had going for us was acceleration, and that wasn't really a circuit that would allow us to showcase that. You know, so maybe we'll do a little bit better in a couple of corners here, but again, this is quite a fast flowing circuit. Downforce is quite important here, and it is something that we are still lacking. We've got parts in development and they are not due to hit until Baku, really. So we'll see if we can get through this with some kind of result, maybe earn a few extra, a few extra dollars with maybe the minimum sort of sponsor goals, as well on top. But I'm just expecting us to kind of tread water until we can get to Baku, and then maybe we can actually get Yuki into a position where he can challenge for the bottom end of the points on a slightly more consistent basis, and maybe De Vries can avoid being right at the back of the grid. We shall see how that goes. Let's start advancing some time. And there is the first of our upgrades. That is the side pods. Let's go to manufacture those. Let's see, we've got just under 800 grand in the bank, and these cost 450 each. It'll take 8 days, so we wouldn't get this till the Saturday, which would be third practice, would be the earliest we could stick that on the car. We're just going to go ahead and make one, because we've also got a suspension that's about to drop as well in 2 days' time, and I'm hoping that we can get one of those started as well, and then we can extend those manufacturing projects beyond next week once we've got the race day out of the way and a little bit of extra sponsor cash. So we will just go straight to continuing. Okay, there is the suspension, and hopefully we can afford to get one of these started as well. These are 300, so yes, we can. We'll have just 48,000 left. There we go, but we have got those new parts on the way, and as you can see, we have got chassis coming as well. The first one will be ready in 4 days, so we could theoretically throw a chassis on for Yuki in this next race, but I want to hang that back. I want to save that for Baku, I think. So we're going to run just our original spec cars tonight. We have got our tour centre up to the next level. I don't think I can afford that upgrade. Oh no, I can. We've had a little bit of extra money come through from the tour centre for starting a new week, and the upgrade itself is 68,000, 69,000. So we've got just enough to get that done. There we go. It'll boost our passive income a little bit more. And then the final upgrade is just 50k, so we'll be able to afford that as well when that's ready. And there we go. So we are ready for race prep. Let's see if anyone has brought any upgrades that's affecting our car. It doesn't really look like it, but at least in terms of the average. But we will check out Williams again, and as you can see, Williams definitely quicker than us, better DRS, much better downforce than us. I think we're going to struggle against Williams tonight. I think Logan we can maybe fight with, just because Logan is not the greatest driver in this. But I think Alex Albon's going to be a bit too far ahead in terms of pace for us to keep pace with. Let's have a look at McLaren. Hopefully we can fight it out with Norris, but again, their car is quicker than us. It's got better DRS, and with 4 DRS zones at this circuit, that's a lot, especially with one of them being a double DRS. Better downforce than us as well. Piastri we should be able to beat comfortably. Norris may be another matter. Let's take a look at the Alfa Romeo, because we have got to watch out for Bottas coming through. We are quicker than them, better acceleration, better downforce. But Bottas is a very highly rated driver, so he's going to be in the mix with De Vries and potentially Yuki. Hopefully we can stay ahead of him. And who else might we be able to fight with? I don't think there's anyone else we can fight with, really. The Haas is too good for us. The Alpine is too good for us. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is not going to be a good race for us at all, I don't think. I really do think we're going to struggle. We'll try and set something a little bit more realistic with our targets tonight. The incentive is to get 1 in the top 15, and I think we can manage that. So we're going to get 1 car into Q2 for the extra 90 grand, which is exactly the same as that incentive there. So basically doubling that. Fastest lap is the incentive. In terms of finish position, I'm going to go 1 in the top 15. It's not a very particularly optimistic target, but it's worth an extra 100 grand if we can pull it off. We've got a new finish position streak, 2 in the top 15. That's not happening without some serious luck on our side tonight. And we are still plodding along with the quali streak, 1 in the top 15 for 5 races. We're 2 down, 3 to go on that. Right, with all that having been completed, let's just take a quick look at the circuit itself. There you can see a lot of high-speed corners in this, just the 1 medium speed. We've got 3 low-speed corners. Our downforce is terrible across the board, but acceleration really does help coming out of the low-speed corners, so that sort of ending section of Sector 1, or the end of the double DRS straight in Sector 1, we might be able to do okay through there. And hopefully we'll get a decent acceleration out of the final corners as well. But apart from that, yeah, it's going to be rough. So let's take a quick look at expected strategies. You can see 1 stop is probably the way the grid is going to go. We might see some 2-stopping. We might 2-stop ourselves. We shall see. And let's have a look. Is there anything else we can really look at? Time considerations. Looking around 19 to 20 seconds on a normal safety car, on a normal pit stop, about 15 seconds with a safety car. So not a huge saving there. Let's see if we do get a safety car tonight. Let's head to Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix.
It's wonderful to be back down under for the Australian Grand Prix. There may be several street circuits on the F1 calendar, but this unique lakeside layout is like none other. High-speed sections snake through the heart of Albert Park, just a few hundred metres from St Kilda's beach. The Albert Park circuit is bursting with rapid corners and a long straight where drivers can push their speed to the limits. Good attention to medium speed downforce will likely make beating this beast of a track just a little bit easier.
Red Bull have outscored their rivals to be at the top of the constructors' table right now. But at just the 3rd round of this year, the title could be anyone's.
Stay with us then as the weekend gets underway.
So So good evening to everyone in chat. Mr. Waters here, Baron is here, Farah is here. Missed you last night, Farah. Right, let's get underway with practice. We haven't got to worry about weather tonight. It will be a dry race. Let's start off with Lawson in for Nick De Vries. Couldn't remember his name for a second then. We'll go with soft tyres. It's normally a 20 lap run. We'll go with that. And if we achieve it, we'll just pull him in at the end of the run. If we don't, obviously we'll send him out for another run as soon as we get the feedback. Let's start with an 8, a 13, a 6.4, a 3.35 and a 0.9. Actually make that a 0.95. There we go. And let's see how we do with that for car number 1. For car number 2, for Yuki, let's see. We want to go with something a little different. Let's go with a 7.5, a 13, a 7.3, a 3.05 and a 0.5. There we go. So we've got two setups that are a little bit different from each other. Again, we'll go 20 laps of fuel and drop that pace setting down. I think I did that for Lawson. Yes, I did. And let's send them onto the track. We are sandwiching an Aston Martin at the moment. I wonder which one that is.
A bit less curb. Probably.
It's Stroll. Yeah, I was actually going to message you and just check how you were getting on. How's your dad doing? Is he better? Yes, Mr. Water, I have no idea how I managed to uninstall the game. But, yeah, just one of those strange things. It just wasn't there on my launcher. I'm like, whoops. That's good to hear, Farah. I'm glad to hear it's getting better. Closing in on feedback for Sonoda. And 89%, so a little bit of work needed, but nothing hopefully too substantial.
Copy.
Lawson not far away from his feedback, and 88%, so a little bit of work needed there as well. Let's call Lawson in straight away. We'll keep Sonoda out to finish the run. So, let's see, what can we tweak with this? Let's try... An 8.5 and a 3.3. Hasn't really done anything there. Okay, let's go with an 8, a 13, a 7.3, a 3.2, and a 0.75. That's quite a big change on the traction, probably a little bit too big. We go with a 7.5, 13, 7.3. And a 0.5. And that's now way too big on the cornering. Way too big a change on the cornering. So that does need to be more like that. Let's just wing it. Let's try going with that. See how that works. And now Yuki's on his way in. And again, we're off on the cornering. So, let's see. Let's try something a little bit more drastic. Let's go with an 8.2, a 2.9, and a 0.2. That is not drastic enough, apparently. That's not moving the cornering anywhere near as much as I need it to. Okay, let's go the other way. Let's go to a 6.4. Let's try the setup we had on Lawson, or something close to that. So we'll go with a 3.25 and a 0.8. Still not enough of a change. Oh wait, the front wing needs to change as well. That needs to be an 8.5. Too much. I'm going to wing this one as well, just to try and figure this one out. That looks like it could be it. Something like that. We'll try that, see how that works.
Big shunt. Still maybe debris. Keep an eye. Virtual safety car.
Someone's out. Someone crashed.
Keep the delta positive.
Yeah, I got it.
I just saw a checker flag. It's Bottas. Bottas is out.
Copy that.
And once again, we do not get a practice replay. It just doesn't seem to be worth showing those, apparently. Let's get Yuki back on track. 97%, so massive improvement for Lawson there. That's him done for this session. Now, with it being 97%, all I really need to do is make one little tweak, and I've got to figure out which way that's got to go. So I'm going to push the front wing up to 8, and I think that could be it. And we'll find out in the next session when DeVries gets back in the car. Just going to wait now for Yuki's feedback. He's not far away from giving us his verdict on these changes. %, so again an improvement, not quite as good as we managed with Lawson, but definitely a step forward there. And it should hopefully make it a little easier to identify which way to take the setup in the next session as well. Yeah, I agree with that last comment there, Farah, because you can have a beast of a PC and City Skylines 2 will still run like an asthmatic hippo on 3 legs. Okay, we're going to go with 44 laps of fuel for DeVries. Sonoda, what changes can we make here? So this does need to be a 7.3. Okay. I'm going to drop that down to a 7. Push that up to a 3.4. And let's try that. And we'll go with 30 laps of fuel. And let's send them back out again.
Green, green, green. Pull the car.
Okay. I'm excited for RoboCop Rogue City. Goes live on the 2nd of November, but I pre-ordered the Alex Murphy edition, which with only an extra £5 gets me a few extra nice little shiny bits, and also 48 hours early access as well. I really hope this game doesn't disappoint. I'm such a huge fan of the original RoboCop movies. The first one in particular. It just has so many amazingly quotable lines. When I'm playing Fireteam with my buddies, you know, we often just throw out, you know, we'll just get into a little point in a game where we'll start quoting RoboCop, and we'll just be throwing out all these and brilliant little one-liners that were in that movie. And the game is set just after RoboCop 2, so it's before they did a third script so bad that Peter Weller said hell no and walked away from the franchise. And it was a terrible movie, RoboCop 3. Evening, Harvey. Any tips to get an optimal setup? Understanding how the sliders interact with each other is definitely a great step to learn when it comes to setups. You know, each slider will have a knock-on effect on some of the other ones, and it's figuring out which ones you can move to achieve the results that you want when you're trying to position the sliders, and also how much you need to move them when you're trying to nail down. So if you're great, you only need to move just a little bit. If you're good, you need to move a little bit more. If you're bad, then it can be quite a big substantial change. It's figuring out how much those changes are worth I will try and explain that when we get back into the garage and I can show you the sliders in action. Have I tried the Robocop demo? No, it's only on PC, isn't it? The Robocop demo, it's a Steam demo. So, no, I haven't tried it. But I've seen a lot of footage, and I've read quite a lot of, hands-on previews, and yeah, I'm quietly confident that the game's going to be decent and good. We're at 95% for De Vries. We actually went the wrong way on that front wing change, so we'll correct that on the next go. We're at 92% still for Yuki, so still more work to do there. Okay, and that's enough for Yuki. Let's call him. Oops, excuse me. Let's call him in, and we can look at making those changes. So hopefully this will be able to give you a bit of an insight, Harvey. So as you can see, most of it is good. We've got the optimals on the front and rear wings. It's the middle bits that we need to change, and we're at 92%. So we don't need to make massive changes. We're going to try and improve the traction. It can't go to the left because that's going to take it out of that zone. And you can see that by moving the camber, we're also moving the front wing, the stability, and as well as the cornering, as well as the traction. Now, when you're looking to make a change to cornering, you mainly want to look at maybe changing the camber or the toe. The toe is going to be what you want to look at for fine-tuning your braking stability, and you can see that that only really makes a subtle change to the cornering, but a bigger change to the braking stability. Your roll bar affects mainly your traction, has knock-on effects on your cornering, braking, and oversteer, but they're quite big, substantial changes every time you click it. Same with the rear wing. The rear wing has a knock-on effect on everything, but it has really big changes on the straights and incrementally smaller changes on other areas of the car. And then your front wing, again, affects all areas, but mainly focusing on the front wing first. So it's figuring out how they all interact with each other. Now, because we want to move our traction a little bit to the right, then we could look at maybe moving the front wing. The front wing would do that, but it would also throw out the rear wing, and obviously the front wing would go off as well. So we don't want to touch the front wing angle. We want to leave that roughly where it is. So instead, we're going to look at moving the camber, and we're going to pull the camber down a little bit to push that through. We're going to go 2 steps, and you can see that it has now taken our front wing angle off of its optimal line. So we're going to correct that with a click of front wing, push that back up a bit. And then we're going to bring that camber down again. And there we've got a slight change to the traction, a slightly bigger change to the cornering, and perhaps a slightly too big change for the braking. So I'm just going to pull the toe back a click as well. And we're going to go with that setup and see if that works. We'll find out in the next session. But I think that might be very close. And De Vries is going to run for the rest of this session. Sonoda's done for today, so we'll be sending him out on practice 3 now to change that setup, or check that setup change. Riding out the clock now, getting De Vries's track knowledge up as quickly as we can.
advise me what you want me to do with tires.
Tyres are low. This is checkered flag.
And there we go. Session is over. So we can look at making changes to De Vries's car now as well at 95%. So we went the wrong way with the front wing last time. We went from a 7.5 to an 8. So we're going to go back to a 7.5. And now we're going to go the opposite way. We're going to go to a 7. And we're just going to correct the camber slightly. That might be about right. I'm just going to revert back just to see exactly what our feedback was. Actually, no, it won't show. It will do, won't it? So there we go. That's what it looked like before we made those changes. We're going to go with a 7 on the front wing. And then we're going to correct that back just a touch with a bit more camber. And we're going to move the toe slightly. And we're going to try that setup there. So little tweaks. Hopefully we haven't broken the traction by making that little camber change. But I think that again could be very, very close. We need to go with about 32 laps of fuel, I think, for De Vries. Maybe a touch more. He's going to be on mediums. Yuki's going to be on softs in this session. And we're going to run him for 25 laps. And let's send them out.
Green light, green light.
Jump ourselves out in front of Russell now. And now we just need to wait and see if those changes work. Right, we are getting close to getting the feedback. Just a couple more laps away. We should get it for Yuki first. %, so almost there. We're in an optimal bracket, but we're not quite there. I'm going to let him finish his run, get to 100%, and then we'll have a look at maybe tweaking it going into qualifying. We've still got a little bit more with De Vries, and he's at 95, so we haven't really found the improvement there either.
Really happy with
a little frustrating. And I am going to call him in. And have another run. How you doing, Packins? Okay, it didn't save the change. We made changes and it didn't save them. That is annoying when that happens. There we go. So those change setup changes that we put on De Vries's car did not change. It went back to what we ran in the previous session. So we don't know whether or not those changes that we had planned will work or not until we actually run them, which is what we're going to do now. Sonoda is now done on his run. And we need to change the camber. But if we do that, it's going to affect both the front wing and the traction. An easier way for us to do that would be to play about with the toe. So I'm going to do that with the toe. I'm going to go 2 clicks to the left and make that a 0.65. And we'll find out in qualifying if that's going to work or not. I mean, I could run it now, but I don't really want to put any extra unnecessary running on the engine. So we'll chance it in qualifying. Yes, I managed to sort out the unexpected issue by simply reinstalling the game. It's amazing how reinstalling a game fixes the "oops, I accidentally uninstalled it" issue. Alright, closing in on that final bit of feedback from Nick de Vries. See if those changes are actually going to work this time. No.
How does it feel?
They are still off. Okay, well, we'll call them in.
Yeah, copy that.
In fact, actually, how long's he got left on it? Yeah, we may as well leave him out. He's so close to getting 100% on his track knowledge. We'll do that, and then we'll call him in. There we go. And again, we'll just have to chance these changes in qualifying. We've actually broken the front wing that way, so it's going to have to be a 7.5 then. And we're going to have to manipulate the change with camber. So I'm going to try that instead. That might break the traction. Yeah, I think that will break the traction. Sometimes I don't get the maximum. It is frustrating when that happens, but sometimes you just can't quite seem to nail it. But I am going to chance it with that, I think. See if that works. And that's it for practice. So, time to head to quali.
Welcome everyone to qualifying. This should be a good one.
These days, it's a much faster layout here at Albert Park, and teams need to focus on getting high and medium speed cornering right to set a good qualifying time.
Charles Leclerc has been a talking point for many of late. Karun, how do you think he's doing so far?
They set a great lap in practice, so you can only imagine how good they're feeling going into qualifying. But the big question is, will they be able to keep this performance up?
So get yourselves comfortable. It's going to be quite the ride.
Okay, we're going to start with 2 lap runs.
Green light. Build some titan.
Copy that.
And good braking when you can. Just warm the brakes.
Copy.
So we seem to have slightly better qualifying pace than we do race pace because we are able to get the drivers up into peak confidence relatively well for qualifying. So Tsunoda should be safe getting into Q2, although once he gets beyond Q2 I don't think he'll make that much progress. De Vries is probably going to go out in this session, and I'm not expecting miracles in the race from either driver really. We've got Sargent on track, so this will give us a good early indication of the sort of Williams' pace in today's race. Ocon we know is going to be too quick for us.
Nice big gap ahead. Push when you're ready. Track is clear. Go.
Evening, Anthony. And we've got Joe leaving the pit lane now as well, so we'll soon get to see what Alfa Romeo's pace is like tonight. So what's hardcore with this series? All of the additional rules are in the video description, so if you just have a look at that, it will go through everything for you. Plus the fact that we're starting from scratch from day one with both of the difficulty settings on means that car development is going to be a lot harder for us, and we're going to be taking a rubbish car and then trying to gradually drag it up the grid, while everyone else is going to be building their car up at a stronger rate than they were on the previous difficulty. So we shouldn't be able to, outdevelop the lower teams anywhere near as quickly as we could last time, theoretically. We don't really know how much of an impact the new difficulty settings have on car development yet, because we've not run long enough for that to really be an issue. But it will be interesting to see. Okay, 1:19.6 for De Vries. He was actually quicker than Tsunoda by nearly 3/10. That's quite a lot. So De Vries' confidence is already very high, on the cusp of peak confidence. It'll be a little lower for Yuki. Yep, there we go. And De Vries is going to get a nice little tow from Verstappen at the start of his second flying lap here. So maybe, just maybe, we can actually use this to sneak De Vries out of Q1. Don't get a difficulty level on 22. No, he didn't get it on this at launch either. It was recently patched in with the last patch a couple of weeks ago.
So nobody ahead of you. So you're good to push when you're ready.
And let's watch that
There is Norris in front of you.
Watch that Red Bull disappear
Charge
off into the
full
distance.
speed.
First split coming up. We're going to see an improvement. No, we're not. Okay, that's not encouraging. Maybe De Vries has peaked already this session. We're too far away to get a slipstream, so if anything, we're just going to get dirty air hampering us now. Yuki is up in the first sector. Here comes the second split, and that is an improvement for De Vries. That gets him into peak confidence, which is important if we have to do a third run later in the session. Yuki up in the middle as well, so we are seeing a definite improvement from Tsunoda this lap. I'm expecting him to find maybe about half a second and go ahead of De Vries. And then we go, De Vries does.
Cool as much as you can.
Copy.
And wow, Tsunoda found 0.8 of a second.
Follow the reference. This is Ilap. This is Ilap.
Big lap for Yuki there. So those tyres should be good enough for one more lap. Let's reduce the run plan down to just one flying lap. And we'll wait now to the end of the session. Still a lot of cars yet to set a competitive time yet. And now we're starting to drop down the order as a result of that. De Vries is currently safe, but Alonso has yet to set a time that's competitive. He's going out now, and that will eliminate De Vries unless De Vries can somehow find 2.5 tenths and jump Norris, which isn't likely. Send him out in clean air. Oh, got Tsunoda out right in front of the Ferrari. That might be a little problematic. There goes Alonso.
You're clear. So you're good to go.
So can we find enough to jump Norris's time without Norris improving?
Straight out, track is clear. Recharge off and push.
Okay, Alonso has improved. He's up to 12th. That's knocked De Vries out. Not up in the first sector. And nor is Yuki. We have found a little bit of time in the middle for Nick. Tsunoda does not improve in the middle sector either, so I think Tsunoda's staying exactly where he is in terms of lap time. Can De Vries find enough?
Check red flag, Yuki. Check red flag.
Drives for the line. and doesn't improve. Must have had a rough final sector there. Here comes Yuki. With the Ferrari all over the back of him. And also does not improve. Neither does Charles Leclerc, who is stuck behind him. But he's still through. So, who is yet to put a time in? Magnussen is on an in-lap. Piastri is not going to get there, surely not. He goes above the Vries. And so Magnussen is boxing. So Tsunoda is through into Q2. De Vries is out, along with Piastri, Magnussen, Zhou and Bottas. Right, back onto those tyres. We got 97% with Tsunoda, so it was the cornering that was the thing that let us down in the end. 97's decent enough. It's not going to have that big of a knock-on effect. We're going to go 2 flying laps again on these tyres, and then we'll do 2 flying laps on a new set of tyres at the end of the session.
Green light now.
So these aren't going to be quick laps, we're just going to whiz through these ones. We're doing this purely just to get a baseline time to work from and to get that confidence boosted up. And there we go, we've got him up into peak confidence for his next run. So now we're going to slap on the brand new tyres. These will be worth potentially half a second. We are going to go 2 laps again. Just see just how much of an improvement we can maybe squeak out of these tyres. We're currently in the top 10, but only just. Russell, Norris, Ocon, Gasly and Leclerc yet to set a time, and at least one of those is going to go faster than us, so if not all of them. So yeah, we're not looking good at the moment. I'm going to go out with about 550, 540-ish on the clock. There we go. Slow opening laps from Russell and Norris. Russell I'm definitely expecting to improve. Norris should probably improve as well. Everyone will have set their initial times on scrub tyres, apart from Russell and Norris. Are they on out laps? No, they're on flying laps. Norris is on his flying lap now. I think Russell is as well. So we'll see what kind of times they can pump out here. And Russell goes 2 seconds faster nearly. Yeah, big improvement for him. Let's see what Norris can improve by, because he is going to improve. And he goes up to 11th. So, we need to find half a second if we want to try and get through here. Let's start our first flying lap. first sector improvement. I'm expecting to improve in all sectors on this lap. Let's check our confidence level. We are still very much in peak confidence, which is excellent. That means we're going to get a nice little boost to our driver stats. Oh, it's a lift because the McLaren won't get out the way, and that's a bad middle sector. Alright, well hopefully we'll get an improvement there on the next lap. How you doing, Rudy? Norris screwing us over there on that first attempt. We do improve in the final sector, so we've moved off the bottom of the grid now. Only 5 thousandths ahead of Alonso, who is going to improve on this lap surely.
There is Norris in front of you. Charge of a push. Check reflect.
Yeah, I was muted. We improved up to 14th. We found 0.3 of a second, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately. I was hoping we could maybe get up to 12th, but just short of that. So, evening, Derek. You cheeky bugger.
The excitement is building, there's electricity in the air. But there's no surprise in that. It's race day.
Albert Park often seems to set teammate against teammate. From Hill and Villeneuve dueling for the 1996 win, to Bottas beating fellow Mercedes driver and pole sitter Hamilton to the win in 2019.
Now, Karun, what do you think Nick de Vries will be feeling ahead of this race?
You know, it's not going well for them at the moment. They haven't been able to put everything together, and it's going to be a lot of work to get back to where they need to be.
Exciting choices lie ahead then for the teams and their drivers here in Melbourne. So let's see what happens.
All right then, so we know our starting positions. Let's see who actually ended up on pole. It was Perez. Perez on pole. Alonso in 6th in the end. But it's Stroll who's in 2nd place at the moment, which is a little surprising until you think that Aston Martin always throw their upgrades onto car number 1 first, which is Stroll. And so maybe they just don't have the upgrades for Alonso yet. Right, we are starting in 17th and 14th. Not great. Let's take a look at the strats. Now, we have done 2-stop strats here in the past, but I think it's going to be a 1-stop tonight, maybe. Let's explore the possibility of a 2-stop. See if that is going to be quick enough. It's 5 seconds faster than the 1-stop. We might as well give it a go. We can always adjust on the fly if we get you know, safety cars or anything like that. And it allows us to be a bit more aggressive with tyres as well. So let's see. Let's do the same with Tsunoda. We'll start them on the softs so they've got a chance of at least gaining a place or staying close to the cars in front. I am not going to take any fuel out tonight. We've experimented a little bit as we've been going. Instead, we're just going to really push the fuel quite hard for the opening sort of 10 laps or so. We'll hold off on the battery. See if we can at least keep pace and then switch it on. We got to 97% set up with Nick de Vries in the end, so I'm thinking maybe that is... So we'll just leave it as is. Let's send them to the grid.
Surround Albert Park. De Vries getting settled and readying himself for...
Grid start for them in this race, but maybe they can get through the pack cleanly and move up the field.
But remember, any Australian Grand Prix. And it's lights out.
Happening for everyone else as well. Is the stream okay for you guys, or is it just me? Because we've had issues in the past where the internet has just gone, nope, not tonight. And I want to check with you how it's looking before we go any further. It's laggy, yeah. That's what I was worried about. Okay, so created a save point. Evening, John.
And away we go.
We'll give it a couple of laps, see if it improves. If it doesn't, then I'll end the stream and restart it at the beginning of the race. Not looking good on my end though.
Keep pushing, you know what to do.
Ava.
Still looking rough on my phone. Yeah, pixelated. That's what. We'll give it another lap just to see if it improves, but if not, I'll restart the stream and hopefully that will solve the issue. Oh, it's getting really bad. I'm going to end the stream. We'll restart and do a part 2, which will go live in a couple of minutes, and I'll see you then.